In the book of James, James, the half-brother of Jesus, is going through various teachings, just educating and reminding the church of the importance of walking with wisdom, not walking with favoritism. And then you see, as he rolls into James chapter 3, he starts talking about the wisdom of controlling the tongue and some principles for a man or woman pursuing the Lord in a relationship with him, and how when they understand the power of the tongue, it's something that really hits home, and it makes us second guess what should come out of our mouth. When I was 3 years old, I was hanging out with my cousins, and we were playing, as kids do, in the backyard, and I had one of those radio flyer tricycles. And here I am riding around in the backyard of my aunt's house. My cousin and his friend were about 8 or 9 years old, and they had caps to a cap gun. And being boys, they started taking little rocks and they would pop them on the caps. And they thought it was fun because it would pop and it would spark and they would see a little flame come out of these caps. And this is when they were paper rolls. And so here they are popping rocks in the caps on my uncle's workshop and his table there. And they popped them and the whole roll caught on fire. And all of a sudden that fire got beyond their control or their ability to control. And quickly they were in a reactive scenario, and the caps rolled off the table, fell on the floor. Well, my uncle was a car painter, and the entire workshop went up in flames. It was a devastating fire. I was 3 years old, and I just so happened to be riding in that tricycle in the same shop. As my cousins were a little older, they ran away from the building. Well, the fire got hold of my jeans, and I got third-degree burns on my shins. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks and was in a wheelchair for 6 months. And as a young man, encountering a fire, it really radically changed my life. Being a young boy, my mother told me about how much it calmed me down as a child, and how my demeanor was just different after that. And what was really interesting about it is James is talking about how the tongue is like a spark that can potentially start a forest fire. And fire can really get out of control quick. You hear about the crazy fires in the last 10 years in California, where a devastating fire took over thousands of acres. And you hear them throughout the states too, where you'll get some dry brush, and it just takes some dry brush with a little flame and it goes up instantly. And so it is when you have a tongue that's not controlled and a heart that is not filled with the love of Jesus. Even a heart that is filled with the love of Jesus can still get burned from harsh words, but harsh words that fall upon a heart that is not filled with the love of Jesus is kind of like that dry brush. And boy, we've all heard it said before, it can take 7 good words for every bad word that we use. In other words, 7 good things that we say can build a person up, but all of that can be torn down in one harsh word. And James is just giving example upon example of the power of words. And so as the Word of God says, as Christians, we should be quick to listen and slow to speak. And so what a life motto we can all grow in, to just simply think twice before we speak. I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you. In Jesus' name.